Yeah, good morning, everybody.
All very
Morning.
from you.
Sorry,
I'll turn it over to you. You have the floor.
I was stuck on a call in the governor's office, this crazy COVID fans issue. So making a little progress there, of course, as you probably read recently. So thank you again. Let me give you a little brief update on our project, and then we can take some Q&A. I think as all of you know, in York County and South Carolina, we have broken ground on our training facility. We've internally called it the Rock, so we refer to it internally. The Rock is a practice facility that is comprised of a couple of different elements. Of course, we have the football HQ building, the main building right on the site. We have obviously grass practice fields. We have indoor facility closed, and we have an outdoor stadium field surrounded by roadways and square footage adjacent to I-77. The land that we're talking about is approximately 240 acres. Used to be known as the, I call it the Hutchinson Farm. The Hutchinson family goes back 7 generations. The parcel used to be a dairy farm at one point. Of course, now it's covered in trees, and until recently it was covered with a lot of trees, but we've removed a lot of those for the project itself. We also have 203 acres of the Waterford Golf Course, and we own another 50 acres in Rock Hill along Dave Lyle Boulevard. So altogether, we've got a lot of land, a lot of development opportunities, a lot of sports and entertainment opportunities for the Rock itself. The project is budgeted at, just for our portion, $750 million approximately. That includes our private investment of the training facility and the public site work, which includes roadway, trails, grading, water, sewer, electric infrastructure, those sorts of things. The project is scheduled to be completed in May of 2023. And as I mentioned, we broke ground a few weeks ago. If you've been around there, it looks like a great big Tonka toy construction project. Our idea for the site around our training facility is that there are many parcels along the highway. We think those are prime parcels for corporate HQ and corporate tenant opportunities. There's also interior parcels adjacent to the training facility itself, more be suited for mixed use, retail perhaps, restaurant, and certainly there's some element of residential. Probably not single family, but multifamily or limited amount of townhomes, not quite sure. To help us determine the development possibilities along that site, I've engaged Jones Lang LaSalle, their Charlotte office and their Pittsburgh office to assist this. They've been studying the site, studying the market, the Charlotte MSA, the York County economy, Rock Hill metrics. And we're going to put an RFQ / RFP for developers who might be interested in this. We want to seek developers that are not just nationally recognized, but certainly regionally and even local developers. It's possible, maybe even likely, that there will not be one master developer, but maybe a couple of developers that we designate to do certain pieces. Maybe a developer might focus on corporate, maybe another developer might focus on restaurant, retail, or mixed use, and maybe a developer might focus on residential. To assist in the development and to assist in the whole site, again, many of you probably know we reached agreement with the South Carolina Department of Transportation and Federal Transportation to fund a new interchange from I-77 right onto the site with a boulevard that goes from I-77 all the way over to Mount Gallant. That interchange, again, I'm not quite sure the budgets because that's not my budget responsibility, maybe in the range of $90 million or so. It is now fully funded from both the federal, state, and the Panthers are contributing to that project as well. I think that we have worked on and agreed on plans for that interchange with SCDOT. We've acquired land and rights of way for that interchange. And that interchange, there will probably be bid packages on the street if there aren't already, will commence by the end of the year. Should be completed well in time for a May 2023 opening. So I think with the new interchange, with our 240 acres, with our training facility, I think that's a good platform for lots of economic development opportunity in York County. The other thing that we're working on that's a little bit on the front burner is that we really believe that because of the Panthers, because of the nature of sports and professional sports, there's a big opportunity for healthcare, sports medicine, like an Atrium, to put a medical office building specializing in sports medicine right on site. We are negotiating with Atrium for a medical office building right adjacent to our facility. Roughly, I don't know, 75,000 square feet, surgical suites, medical imaging, X-ray, MRI, CT, that sort of thing, along with advanced sports medicine rehab, either embedded in our main building or along the Atrium building. That medical office building and all that activity will also be completed by May of 2023. That's in addition to the main, roughly $750 million project. So that, that's another quick investment and early investment into the site. We've also acquired additional parcels on Mount Gallant, really for construction access at this point, but maybe future development opportunities along that roadway. So I can give you specifics to our building itself. We will be presenting new images and new renderings of what the building looks like, its layout, at a town hall meeting first week in October. That's been organized by County Councilman Brody and our construction crew. And those images will become public first of that week. I can tell you about the project a little bit. The project, and that you guys would be interested in this, the project is, I think, so large and so iconic that we're getting national and international interest and investment into the site. The Panthers management and I have met with the large, I'll call hyperscalers, the Amazons, Googles, and Microsofts to talk about things like 5G investment, high-tech infrastructure on the site, as an additional amenity and incentive to promote new and advanced employers and tenants on the site. I think this could be a new development for York County and new employment base. We are engaged in those discussions. I can't give you a timeline if those will come to completion. It's a big lift and a big opportunity, which we've always talked about. If we can develop a 5G network, really starting there, could be a big draw in the southeast region of the U.S. and maybe a national draw. The architecture firm that's working on our project is a firm called Populous. Populous is probably the leading worldwide sports architect. They've done, I think, 200 training facilities around the world, college and pro, both football, soccer, baseball. They've done a number of stadiums, including its predecessor firm, HOK, which did Bank of America Stadium here in Charlotte. I hired them to do Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, and they've done, I don't know, half a dozen or more NFL facilities. They've created a design that when people see it on broadcast television or social media, when you see the design, when you immediately look at it, you're going to know you're in York County, South Carolina, and Rock Hill. that's how iconic and interesting this thing is going to be. I've shown this to a number of architects and developers, and they're like, their first words out of their mouth are "holy cow" or "wow, that's unbelievable." So I think as you're talking about the real estate community, the development community, this is going to be a beacon for interest and a beacon for, I think, spurring economic investment and real estate investment, not just in York County on our site, but all through Rock Hill and all through York County. So that's our goal. I think we're going to pull it off, and we're going to pull it off in a very big way. Those are the broad strokes of the project. You know, if you followed this project, you know it's been obviously a visionary idea. I give great credit to South Carolina, the governor's office, the legislature, the York County Council, Rock Hill, of course, and the mayor and city council in Rock Hill. And I think overall the community has been extremely supportive. We are very close to finalizing a lot of the development documents. Some things are starting to be reviewed in final form, and many of them have already been voted upon, but they will be voted upon through now and the end of the year. And I think that will assist in a lot of the real estate development opportunities, and really get things moving in a huge way, in addition to construction. If you don't know my background, I spent 23 years at the Steelers before coming down here in December of 2018 when David Tepper asked me to come down. My first job at the Steelers was working at Three River Stadium for Dan Rooney. It was an old, great stadium for football. Didn't provide much economic activity around the building, and certainly didn't provide a modern platform for real estate development or economic activity in Pittsburgh. In 2000, my first task was to get us out of that building and build a brand new stadium, which we did, Heinz Field, which was open in 2001. And the other goal that we had was to develop roughly 100 acres of land between Heinz Field and PNC Park into a mixed-use development. If you Google the area now, or you see Google photos, or you've been to Pittsburgh recently, starting in 2001, when we hired a firm out of Columbus called Continental Real Estate, who had done the Arena District in Columbus and done some other mixed-use things around the country. They started with two main HQ buildings along the riverfront for Del Monte Foods headquarters. Then they went to a major utility HQ along the river. And then we built an indoor-outdoor amphitheater. And then we built a mixed-use building. And then we built a hotel. And right before I left, we were finalizing another $100 million mixed-use building between the two stadiums, along with a parking garage in a mix there. We also were successful in lobbying the federal government and local government to extend the light rail from underground Pittsburgh underneath the river, popping up next to development, popping up next to Heinz Field, and continuing down to a casino. So I think you know, if we use that as a little bit of visionary, that's certainly not the mix we're talking about here in Rock Hill. But I think a lot of the elements, a lot of the activities, and a lot of the steps that we had to undertake are very, very similar. We're going to work on pedestrian improvements. We're going to work on parcels of land that employers think are attractive in York County and Rock Hill. We're going to work on transportation, and we're going to work on things that hopefully draw tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people to that site on an annual basis. And that include music, that include entertainment. There's certainly going to be a huge component of sports events, not just pro events, but perhaps collegiate with the local colleges in South Carolina, and also a huge component to the Rock Hill School District, which has been a great partner of ours for high school events. So not just local high school events, but regional and national events. So I think that's the I'll call it the nickel explanation of the project. I know you haven't seen a lot because there's just earth being moved around in trees and foundation work, which nothing's coming out of the ground. You won't see steel coming out of the ground until January, and then things will start to take shape. So I think that's it. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'll be here as long as you want, but I'm sure you have some questions that are very specific to you. So I think I'll open it up to you guys.
Well, I just first want to say welcome to York County and Rock Hill. We are thrilled to have the Panthers here, and we are thrilled to have you talk to us today. I don't have questions. I just wanted to say thanks again for your time. Everybody else, by all means, I'll leave questions open and let Mark go from there.
I'll just say one more personal item. I just put an offer in on a house in Rock Hill, so I'll be a taxpayer as well as a
Fantastic. Immediate real involvement. We love it.
What's that?
Immediate real estate impact. We know
Yeah,
the
that's
long
right.
going to be overwhelmingly positive, but that's we kind of feel like that's down the road for the property values in that area. But the direct sales are what we really want. So happy to hear that you're a homeowner here.
You know, it's funny. Yeah, I'm already hearing anecdotal evidence that real estate values are going up and pricing is going up. I don't know if that's true or not. I think that maybe just using my negotiation and the offer and the buyer and the seller of this particular house. So it's probably going up, I would say. I know commercial land is going up because I know what's happening in some of the acreage prices. But anyway, so.
Mark, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned that there may be some housing development that may be going on, and I guess it's going to end up being multifamily since you mentioned that it may be townhomes or maybe even possibly condos. Do you know if any of that would be affordable housing, or if you're going to partner up with the city or with some of the other agencies that might be able to help?
Yeah, I mean, I let's go back through that again, because I believe that there may be a small residential component of this. I'm not a developer per se. I think we've got to get these guys in here to talk about residential opportunities. I don't know the residential product. It's certainly not single family homes. I don't think that's what we need, and I'm not sure what we need on that side. I don't think single family homes is not it. So I keep leaning toward, well, it'll be multifamily, multi-unit. I'd like to believe that, in the COVID area, post-COVID area, there might be some interesting new residential development products that people might want. They want to get out. And this is my theory. I don't know if this is true or not. I live in an uptown luxury high-rise unit right now. Look, I don't feel particularly great about getting in elevators and going 41 floors because of COVID and because of people. If COVID disappears completely and we're back to the old normal, that's one thing. But I do think there's some type of residential product that people want to get out of their urban areas and get into green space, open air, bike trails, pedestrian paths. And is there a residential product that people want? Does it get smaller? Does it get bigger? Is it based on safety? Is it based on new technology? I think regardless, I think we got to figure a way and partner with all the local folks to make sure that these things are inclusive and not exclusive. And we got lots of different products for people. Again, we're not, and as I mentioned in my earlier comments, we have lots of other acreage in Rock Hill. There may be opportunities for other types of residential development down there. And I think Rock Hill in York County is going to explode, by the way, in the next decade. So I think a lot of residential opportunities are going to come blossom out of the ground, whether we're involved or not. So I think there's going to be a great opportunity for things like affordable housing, inclusive, and all that sort of stuff. So I hope that answers your question.
Can you tell us anything about your plans with the golf course?
Yeah, the golf course, we bought that golf course, heck, I don't know, about a year ago. It wasn't in great shape. It was owned by, I think, a private equity firm out of, I want to say Canada or so, who had a couple other courses. The course itself was bleeding cash. We bought it at a little bit of a discount because they had neglected a lot of capital investment in it. A lot of, it was sort of in bad shape. we immediately put a lot of money into the course just to get it to, I think, I would say a good playable condition. We removed a lot of trees, and if you're a golfer, I golf a little bit, not a whole lot, but removed some trees, did some fairway work, did some green work, irrigation was messed up. So I think we made it aesthetically a lot better. We put about $500,000 into the clubhouse to make it a little more functional. And it's just, the business is booming at the golf course. I think, and we're making, I will not hesitate, we're making some money, which was quite a surprise to us. So I think we're willing to make more investment into that course itself. I've had a couple of golf course designers come in and talk about how we would rearrange the course, move the clubhouse, change the order of the holes, change the holes. I mean, these are, world-class course designers. Now that's a big bite. Not sure I want to present Dave with a big bill like that yet in the midst of COVID, and we don't have fans in the building. But I think we are sufficiently pleased with that course that we really want to try to make it a great amenity for York County and Rock Hill. And we certainly have no, ideas about making it into public or a private course. It's always going to be public. And, we want to make sure that it's a great place to play, and we want to play off the Panthers, and we want to play off any other tennis down there. And so we think it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. I know the coach and a lot of players have played down there, and they love it. And, the idea is to, and do different events out there and, make it a great amenity, which I think it is.
I was kind of playing off of, okay, we've got soccer coming, we've got,
Yeah.
is he gonna go somewhere with a golf course? How far would he go with that?
Yeah. Look, I think, I think it's always going to remain a golf course, of course. Its location along the river. I think there's a great little neighborhood around it. There's some parcels around the golf course that, again, may be developed by others. But I think it could be it's a great thing along the river. David is really enamored with, he's a biker. He's enamored with the bike trails and the riverfront trails and the water. And I think he wants to make it, a great riverfront amenity. So anyway, that's our plan. Look, we put a lot of money into it, and we're going to put more money into it. And, it's just going to get better and better.
Mr. Hart, thank you again for being with us today. This is great information for those of us working around here. I know you said the main project, the completion date is May of 2023. Are there any portions of the project that may be open prior to that?
I don't think so. We lost time with COVID. COVID not just delayed, I think, a lot of the administration and legal process and governmental process related to the site and approvals, but we literally lost time on site with things like the project management, development crews, and architecture and all that site work. So the whole thing got pushed back to 2023, and we are, if you've been down there, we are busting hump. These guys, they were just cranking. We're going to be hard pressed to deliver by May of 2023, but we got to do it. And I think that's a long answer to, I don't think there's going to be portions of the project that are open per se, other than maybe, things like the roadways and the interchange and the bike paths and those sorts of amenities, and a lot of the water features and retention and ponds and dams that we're going to do on site. Those things may be open. But I think in terms of bricks and mortar, I don't think anything's going to be open before that May of 2023 timeframe.
Thank you.
Mr. Hart, have you got any information about the train station possibly tying in with the subway system up to Charlotte? Anything?
Yeah, we've always talked about that, and it's a good question. David was insistent when we started looking at sites and looking about the locations that we didn't, that we could encourage transit, mass transit, high-speed transit, something that would get from York County and Rock Hill to Charlotte or even further north. As you know, there's a freight line just south of our site. There's a rail line there. we've oriented our site and we've made plans not only with Duke Energy and the realignment of the high power lines there, but the roadways, the parcels. We did it so that we could, if not preclude a train station, a rail station there, but God help us encourage it. Again, these things are not done overnight. As I mentioned back in Pittsburgh, it took many, many years to get light rail funding and lobbying in Washington and enable and that was a $500 million project that seemingly, I think, only went 1.5 miles or something. So, you're talking about a major, major commitment, not just to South Carolina, York County, as you go north, Lancaster County and in Mecklenburg. I mean, it's going to take a regional effort to get transit and trains, and then you have to deal with Norfolk Southern. But look, we did in Pittsburgh. It's been done in other parts of the country. As Rock Hill and York County explode, I think it's certainly within the realm of possibility, but it's a heavy lift. Any other questions?
If not, then we want to say again, we greatly appreciate you spending some time with us. This is great. I know we are all very excited about the involvement of the Panthers here. And again, we much appreciate you being here with us today.
Well, thank you. As I mentioned, I'm doing a town hall meeting organized by Bob Roddy and our project management folks, mostly talk about construction details and the opportunities to get involved with the local community. But we are going to present some new imagery and some renderings and some plans, and I think that'll be the first time a lot of this stuff is in public. So I would try to tune into that and keep your eyes and ears open. And also, as I mentioned, Jones Lang LaSalle, if you've got contact with that firm, and if you have developer partners, let them know that we will be seeking developer input, and we're going to grab some local and national developers to start working on this right away. So things are rolling, and we want everybody to be involved.
Well, that's great, everyone. Thank you to Mr. Hart. And if no one else has anything else, then we also we can adjourn as well. So, Mr. Hart, we'll let you get back to your busy day. And
thanks,
if
folks.
Anything else, then
feel free to. Yeah, I think I think you guys have my email, but feel free to shoot me an email if you got a detailed question, and look forward to seeing you down there someday. I spent a lot of time in Rock Hill, and we'll keep it rolling.
I'm sorry, can I just interrupt really quick,
Yeah.
Mark? We had 2 questions come in
Yeah.
just recently. Are there any plans to move the stadium from Charlotte down to here at all, or are you just going to keep the Bank of America Stadium?
Well, that's a good question. Make some breaking news here, but we're not going to make any here today. No, I mean, look, I mean, honestly, we are so focused on, on the Rock, that's taken up all our energy. Obviously, the Panthers, we have to get back on the winning track. We got a new football staff, new identity, that's focus A. Focus B is, of course, the Rock, as I mentioned. And, I think until we get this project out of the ground and do exactly what we're going to say we're going to do, we want to make the best that we can in everything that we have, including Bank of America Stadium. It's just not a focus right now. And, look, at some point I'm trying to remember the data. Look, the building is going on 26 years old. It's a great building, but the data does suggest it's one of the oldest buildings in the NFL, maybe third oldest at this point, third or fourth. It's tough to be in the last quartile in anything in the NFL. So we don't want to be in that last grouping. We want to be somewhere better than that. I've had lots of experience in talking about stadium development. As I mentioned, my first job was to get us stadium at Heinz Field, which it did. So I think we got to look at its future here. Charlotte, MSA, which we're all in, is a big growing region, but it's just not a focus right now. And I'm sure when we get the Rock up and running, I'm sure it'll be a heavy focus, but it's right now it's not front burner issue.
All right. Thank you. Nick, for our state CEO, wants you to know that he feels much better knowing a former Steelers in charge.
Yeah.
He's a Steelers fan.
Well, I'll brag a little bit. I've been to 2 Super Bowls, and I have 2 rings, and my name is engraved on 2 trophies. So hopefully I can try to bring a little bit of help. But I'm not on the field, and so.
Mark, as a former Pittsburgher, in my heart forever, although I've been here for almost 40 years, I'm really looking forward to the innovation that you can bring to the Rock Hill area based on your previous experience with the Steelers. So we're all real excited to have you here and to have the Panthers involved in our community in York County. So Steeler Nation, but I love the Panthers too.
Well,
so.
that's I always root for the Steelers unless they're playing the Panthers.
There you go.
But I don't know what the term is now. Now I'm a Rock Hillian, I guess.
Yes.
So I'm a Rock Hillian, and I think South Carolina is going to be probably the hottest state in the country, along with the Rust Belt states in the next 2 decades. I mean, you're just seeing the flight out of the Rust Belt, flight out of the Northeast, and I think everybody, all of us, we're just poised for a boom here. And I think if we can take a little of the successful lessons that we learned, certainly in Pittsburgh, I won't speak to football, but certainly a lot of things we did up there, I think we did them the right way. I think we did them in a very open fashion, and look, in a very, very tough but very diligent fashion. I think if we can do that in Rock Hill, I think it's going to be tremendous for all of us, and we can all benefit. So I think that's our goal. And David being a former Pittsburgher, and he's now, he's, what do we call it, a Charlottean?
Yes.
Is that the term? He's a Charlottean, and I know he was looking for some real estate down in York County. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a little more down there too.
Thank you.
I have one more question. We have one member that would like to know, do you know that, can you release the name of the developers for the RFQ?
Well, we're actually going through the list right now. I think there's 60 on the list right now that the RFQs and RFPs going out to. I mean, and again, we have, once we finalize the list, I'll be sure to, make sure you guys know who they are. But we don't want to eliminate or preclude anybody. I mean, again, we need local participation. We need regional participation. And I'm not firmly committed to a national developer or international developer. I think these guys all have to come to the table and properly show us how they see the vision of this project and does it match what we all want to do. So, I've been through this process before. We all have to be aligned. I'm proud that the developer we selected in Pittsburgh, again, was a firm out of Columbus, but they were just regular guys. They were aligned with the Rooney family and the Pirates ownership at the time, the McClatchy family and later the Nunning family. But everybody was working together. And I think we have to have a development partner or partners where we're all.
That is all the question I have on the chat.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Mr. Hart.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. If anyone has anything else, please speak up. But otherwise, I think we are ready to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
In a second.
Second.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you, everyone.